Supreme Court's ruling on affirmative action is not a surprise, but it goes to something that is very central to kind of Republican and right-wing ideology, and that is the fantasy that the United States can be or is a meritocracy, particularly with regards to things like college admissions. And you hear this a lot from people on the right. This is in a meritocracy, you should get into college just on your grades and your test scores. Let the best students get in. That is abject nonsense. And anyone who, I don't know, has spent a couple of days in the United States of America knows that. But even if we take that at face value, let's make it about meritocracy. Let's judge people simply on what they've accomplished and what their potential is. Why are we looking at only those two measures? And why are we looking at them at a vacuum? An upper middle class person who has no financial worries, good health care, access to tutoring, and who studies very, very hard, who gets a 1550 on her SATs and say a 3.9 GPA, has worked very hard, and that is very impressive. But in what universe is that more impressive than a lower income person? Maybe a lower income person, African American person, who has confronted and had to address racism throughout his or her life, who gets, I don't know, a 1480 on his or her SATs, and say a 3.8 or a 3.7 GPA. And I know that this is exactly what the racists who oppose affirmative action say. The first student is better. Race doesn't matter. But to believe that is to believe the fantasy that there is no racism in the United States or that it has been over for a long time. And that is abject fantasy. But it's willful fantasy. And willful fantasy in this case is just simply racism.